Hey guys, little update on the Benedict Nano Reef. It's an innovative marine Nuvo 15 gallon with Kessel A80 light, E-Shops float valve, Helio heater, and timer, and blah blah blah. It's a pretty good little tank. No skimmer. This is my first long-term setup I've ever done without a skimmer. Doing roughly 50% water changes. Once every week, often twice a week. And the reason for twice a week is despite doing live sand and some live rock, a fair amount of dry rock though, letting it cycle, everything was good. Despite all that, after adding a couple of fish, we had an ammonia spike, which ended up with the 2 Banggai cardinals that I added dying. We added 2 blood red fire shrimp, only 1 left, and we've kind of left it at that. The tank has struggled a little bit. I was having some algae issues, very minor, just film algae, and despite dipping everything, we've got little red flatworms, and it's a pain. So I'm gonna end up pulling that shrimp out, putting him in a basket in the sump of the display tanks. And we're going to do a flatworm exit dip on this tank here in the near future. But right now, it's predominantly soft corals with 1 red blastomusa LPS. And as much as I like that Kessel A80, I really am starting to believe that it's not enough light for this little tank. So I've got the intensity all the way up. And I was doing just blues for the longest time, and I've had to adjust it to be more white just to give it some more intensity. And you can see some of those O's are really reaching. These guys have lost their color quite a bit. Those are Little Shop of Horrors on this disc. And you can still see the colors, but they're really faded. The Palaunepthia, that's really stretching to the light. Mushrooms are really dulling out. These sun-kissed bounces are bleaching. So I'm really, really suspecting the light needs to be upgraded, and we're going to look at doing a Radeon XR15, probably a Pro, since all the other XR30s we've got our Pros. We may consider a blue if we can get one locally. Going to be checking out Corals Unlimited, talking to Jeff down there, and seeing if he has any in stock or when he could get us one. The owner of these tanks asked me to send her a link where to order these. I did, and at the time too, I was like, or, another option is we can, look at local fish stores, which I really am a big fan of shopping at local fish stores any chance we can. And I know the owner of Corals Unlimited, he's a good guy. He stocks those lights usually, so I'm hoping we can go down there either today or very soon and pick one up, or at very least order one. And then that will be a big upgrade for this little tank. This tank, we are using the filter socks in the back. It's kind of hard to see. It's actually in that chamber. So right now, using it as a media basket, believe it or not, for some Phosguard, because we were having some high phosphate in this tank. And surprisingly enough, even with just 1 shrimp and some snails, we were having phosphate issues. And when I feed this tank, I'm literally giving like 1 or 2 individual mysis shrimp once a day, and that's it, or at least that's what I feed this tank throughout the week, because I'm here twice a week. So throughout the week, I'm not sure exactly how much this tank gets fed, but that's what I've recommended, just the tiniest little bit. But we get some cool corals in here, really. I mean, we get some electric Oompa Loompas, some pink diamonds. There's a jawbreaker mushroom, mandarin oranges, Little Shop of Horrors, which they are not looking as good as they could right now. Whole bunch of rastas. I actually bought this rock for myself, grew it out, harvested probably 1,000 polyps, and then gave the original rock, to my client here as a gift. Some sun-kissed bounces that are struggling. That is a metallic orange discosoma mushroom, which is moved. We get some utter chaos, Palaunepthia, pink zippers. I forget what that other zoanthid is. We're probably going to move that to the big tank. Some really, really nice red discosoma mushrooms. orange Recordia Yuma, scrambled egg zoes, Fruit Loops, which are struggling a little bit. This is a really cool purple Nephthia. It's photosynthetic. Got this from Dan Connor out of New York. Dan Connor's Corals. He's a cool guy. You can see him at usually most of the local frog swaps, like Frog Farmers Market down in Connecticut. That's an awesome coral though. And then red blastomusa, more rastas in the back. And then kind of a handful of Astrea snails and one blood red fire shrimp. So we had a few other corals in here. We had a Godzilla bounce mushroom in here that was on that little piece of tile, and that did not make it, surprisingly. So I'm gonna end up replacing that with one that I'm growing. But yeah, it's a basic little innovative marine. So stock pump, screen top. It's a great little tank. I'm still not sure about running skimmerless, but we're giving it a go. And this tank has been up and running for 5 or 6 months now, I think. Something around there. Yeah, somewhere around there. And I think the end goal is we're going to have maybe a likelihood is we're going to end up with a pair of clownfish in here. Either that or we're going to try another pair of Bengai cardinals and maybe either a small blenny or goby or maybe a small, like a 6-line wrasse would be kind of cool in here, or a couple of firefish. We definitely want to make sure this tank is not going to have another ammonia spike though. So that was the main thing. But things overall are doing good, with the exception of, like, today when I cleaned this, it had some film algae, and obviously there's some flatworms going on in here. So here in the next week, probably next week, the owner's actually, the owner's going to be gone away on a trip here relatively soon, and when she leaves is when I'm going to do the flatworm exit treatment on this tank. That way she comes back and sees the tank looking its best. And that's kind of the way I like to do things. But anyway, these little nano tanks can be done. We've got sort of a deep sand bed in here. The 2 different layers, the fine sand and then the special grade coarse sand on top. Yeah. And it's a relatively inexpensive tank. I think the whole tank with the screen lid, well, just the glass tank and the lid was like $150. And then I actually donated the light. The light's like $100 and some odd dollars. Like a $30 float valve, and that's it. Well, I take it back. The heater was about as expensive as the entire tank. But those Helio heaters, that is my new go-to heater on reef tanks. I am super impressed with those. And actually, that's actually the probe right there, the temperature sensor. So you really get what you pay for sometimes, and I'm definitely happy with those Helio, the innovative marine Helio heaters. So, and we got that from, where did we get that? Oh, that came from Bulk Reef Supply, but I bought my own personal one from Corals Unlimited. And like I said, I try to support local fish stores any chance possible, and I hope you guys will do the same, because at the end of the day, the local fish stores are the guys that are going to be able to support us when we need them most, like a tank emergency or a piece of equipment that fails and we need to replace it the same day. Those are the places that we need to go and need to support, because if they're gone, our hobby gets a whole lot more difficult. But anyway, I'm going to end this video. This is the Benedict Nano Reef, and that's the rest of the Benedict Reef over there. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and happy reefing.